Hello everyone, it's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead.
Pop out.
And I forgot it again.
Yep.
I don't know. How many times do I need to do this?
I don't know. I'm trying to let you do it though.
Like every time.
I know.
Alright, I got it right. Alright, so we have a few pictures tonight so we can share.
Oh, do we?
Yes, I've got a few things I want to just share with people later.
Okay.
Not necessarily now, but hello everybody.
Good evening, everybody. It's Wendy and Donna from, that's backwards, ain't it?
Wendy and Donna?
Wandy.
Wandy?
Yeah, Danny and Wanda.
I know what you're saying.
Oh.
He's tired tonight, guys.
Oh, boy, am I tired. Whew, I've been on the tractor a lot today.
Yeah.
In the cold.
A long-haired country boy. Wow.
Because I'm going to tell you something, guys. It is, well, I can't get it off of there.
What? Okay. It ain't gonna hurt nothing.
I know it, but I'm not used to seeing it on there.
He's cleaning my keyboard
cleaning
up.
her keyboard off. I'm such a
it's my
fanatic.
Keyboard. Leave it
I'm
alone.
such a fanatic about everything being just right.
I see a lot of people done jumped in.
Yeah, I saw Dee was in here. Hello, Dee.
Hey, Dee.
I seen
Howdy. Howdy.
Pinball must have been in here because everybody's
I saw
saying.
Pinball.
There's Mr. Donnie and him. Yeah.
And Monkey Mama.
Yeah, Pastor Scott.
Last Cowboy Cabin from Stonewall, Mississippi.
All right. I love Mississippi.
Pastor Scott.
Why
not? Why not? Is that right? WHYNOCK.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
In our southern language.
In our southern language.
Why not?
A little chilly in southern Indiana, John says. Well, it's a little chilly in the deep south also.
Yeah,
we went from 85 to, what was it this morning? I'll tell you, 35?
Mona Lisa popped in.
We're going to 35 in the morning. Today we was at 38 with about 15-mile-an-hour winds. And it's been
kind of cold.
It's been cold all day.
Now I saw the Pratts. Now Pratt Family Homestead, they're in
Michigan. Yep.
They were saying something about it was in the teens and dropping, and they had snow. And I'm like, y'all stay up north, keep y'all's weather up there. Don't bring it down here, because we got some of their weather down here.
Man,
you know that's cold.
Well, we've got a 50-degree weather change, and let's put it this way: a week ago we was running the AC. Now I got my wood heater going in here.
Yeah, I was wearing shorts.
There's Moat Hill Homestead.
I was wearing shorts and a tank top, and now I've been in a jacket and a sweatshirt.
It's still cold.
And still cold all day.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it changes back and forth and back and forth. Either stay cold or stay hot, but don't keep changing.
Oh, this crazy weather. Wanda today has been covering up plants.
Yes.
That's been her duty and job today.
I covered up pineapples because we're pineapple farmers now in the Deep South, and I had 11. I thought I had 12, but it was 11 pineapples. So I used big pots and covered them. I used a tarp on a few, and then some 5-gallon buckets on some of the smaller ones. I put just empty like landscape pots, but little, like we got the, what was it?
Fruit trees in.
Yeah, but even the smaller ones, we got little small stuff like half-gallon or quart. I mean,
probably 1 gallon, to be honest.
1 gallon,
probably
maybe?
1 gallon. We don't want anything smaller than a gallon.
Yeah, and so we save all those things. So I was dumping them over. I have squash up, like spaghetti squash, and I don't know, several things coming up over there at Pecan Grove, and they had just popped the ground the last 2 days. So I covered them up. We probably got 25 or 30 things covered up over there.
We're kind of a little bit nervous because we've got peaches the size of your fingernails. We got blueberries the size of your little fingernails. Mayhaws galore. Just the trees are just hanging. Pear trees have got little pears. Apple trees are all blooming out.
Blueberries, huckleberries, you name it. They're all berries everywhere. The mulberries. We have just dropped the ball with the mulberries.
We dropped the ball on the mulberries. The birds have just taken them over.
We have these little birds, what are they called?
Cedar waxwings.
They love mulberries. And when they find them, they don't quit. I was out there popping my hands, trying to get them to go away where I could pick a few, and they wouldn't leave. They would not leave, and Danny heard me, so he went and got his
my air rifle.
The air rifle. It don't make hardly any sound. He popped one, and they just all took off.
And they were gone all day.
Didn't come back.
Didn't come back.
So you know the little things. Once they find them, they'll devour it. And this tree is what, 20 feet tall, and
oh Lord, yes.
And
it's
I don't know how big around.
Probably 30 foot in diameter.
And I've done good to get a few off of them between trying to chase the birds off and the wind blowing a lot off. So the wind's been doing a lot of damage.
We're just hoping and praying that this system lifts north of us a little bit more, because we have a Gulf heat coming in just a little bit, and we have the greenhouses are all locked down.
Did that yesterday.
Done that yesterday in the rain. I never did go in them today and check the temperature because I wasn't here. I was over at Pecan Grove all day. Well, I went to town early this morning. We went to town and bought fence posts and a few other supplies for the cub farmall, or farmall cub, however you want to say it. Somebody had to correct me on that on one of my videos.
I don't remember if it's farmall cub or cub.
It's a farmall cub.
Okay.
And we went and got parts for that, and we went and got fence posts and stuff, and come back home and thought we was going to have to refinance everything after we got the fence posts, because it's just ungodly at what that stuff costs. And I didn't even get any fencing yet. I mean, we're just getting posts to do the corners and the lines and stuff like that. And then we got back to the property and had to finish pushing and clearing fence rows and taking the grapple, moving stuff out of the way so we have clear shots and clear lanes and all that cold, and finally got it all done. After the rain, we had to do some grading behind our old barn that was on the property, because I went over during the storm yesterday and realized that there were some places that water was running up under the barn.
Oh, let's show them what you've been doing. Now.
Oh, you got some pictures?
Yes. Occasionally, when I can think about it, I will do pictures. Now, we've not told y'all that there was a barn over there, but we showed this on Patreon this week when Danny did some work. Excuse me. This is the front of the barn as it was, and you can see to the side that Danny was putting posts in the ground. So you want to tell them what you were kind of doing there, and then I'll show them after picture.
Well, we decided to go out 10 feet further on the right-hand side of the barn and 10 feet further on the back side of the barn, so that we have more room for cattle. We have room to park equipment under it. We have room to put the cattle trailer under it when we get through, and still some of the original people's stuff is under it. We've been trying to get that out from under there and get it to them, and just doing a lot of cleanup work and trying to do trying to figure out the new system that we want to put around the old barn.
Yeah. All right. So this is. Now, he didn't have the final pieces of metal on the corner coming around.
The hip, I ran short on metal on the hip, and I had to go back to town and get some metal to finish out the hip.
This was a couple of 3 days ago. And since then, he's worked on starting the cow parts, where he wants the cow
the corral parts on the back. Yeah.
Fixing the pen like under the barn where he wants them and things like that. But all that's over on Patreon, but we did want to show you, this is the barn over there. A lot of people have been asking how we're going to keep our animals safe and, all this kind of stuff. And we have that.
It looks totally different than that now, though, I'm going to assure you.
It doesn't even look like this in the last couple of days on what he's been working on.
Did you put the finished picture on there?
Nope.
Okay.
I couldn't find it. Just being honest. I was hurrying. I had 10 minutes to do stuff.
Oh, my word.
So, while we're here, let's show them the garden.
This is the garden over there.
Before I covered anything up.
Yeah, all the corn is up. It's about 2 inches tall. All the potatoes on the left-hand side, the onions, the garlic, and way on the other end down yonder is the pineapples and the tomatoes and stuff like that, peppers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the potatoes are doing amazing. I just hope, we don't have a major issue, because I didn't cover the potatoes. We're taking a chance with them. And the last picture from Pecan Grove. This is what we saw today.
This is what was in our new pond we had built. The pond is filling up on the average of 1 to 4 inches a day. through. We have 5 underground springs running into it. And Wanda and I drove up on the hill today just to look down at it, and we saw 4 ducks in the pond. We were excited to see that because we're getting ready to start putting fish in it. And we saw these 4 ducks, and we thought we'd just sit and watch them and take a few pictures.
Yeah. So basically, that is what we've been doing this week. The garden, I went out and direct sowed a lot of things in the garden about a week ago. And I was hoping they wouldn't quite come up till after this cold spell, but some of them decided to pop up yesterday and today.
Yep.
So I had to cover them. And the rest of them didn't come up yet, so maybe I'll be okay with that. But we usually always plant corn in March. Sometime middle of March anyway.
Mid-March, I always plant my corn, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't cover the corn. It's not supposed to get down maybe 38 tonight?
Tonight, we'll get down to 35.
Maybe 35?
35 tonight, with a slight wind blowing, so we're hoping there's no frost with that little bit of a wind. And then Monday morning will be 20, they're saying 28 to 29. I'm hoping they got a slight breeze blowing. We're hoping there's no frost with that too. So we're also hoping, because all the trees here have leafed out, literally every tree here just about has leaves on it now. We're hoping that the cold air, because of the trees, don't really reach down to the ground like it normally would.
Somebody was asking about, could you show how to do that hip on the metal roof? You've already done all that. I didn't film it.
Yeah, Wanda wasn't there when I did all the metal work.
Yeah, I stayed home. I had things to do that day, and so I didn't film him. What we're doing over there, we're not doing a step-by-step anything. When he has time to work, he works. When I have time to be over there, I'll take pictures or maybe even try to take some short clips of video, but I'm not videoing hardly anything over there, really. It's just short things and trying to document the process before and after.
Yeah.
Mainly on Patreon, I've showed the pond before and after. Now I've showed the barn before and after, and we're still not through, so there'll be an after.
Yeah.
And the fencing, we showed the pecan trees. Now, what the trees you saw in front of the barn there are all pecan trees.
Every one of them.
And I showed before and after on that too, when we were having all that cleared out, what it looked like before we cleared it and what it looks like now with just pecan trees there. So.
Yeah, Gossmania said they just planted their Danny corn last week that they collected from a few years. They had a couple years ago, and hope it does well. We're just hoping that the cold weather don't get our corn. That's what we're hoping. This Arctic blast we have coming down through here is a very unusual Arctic blast. I mean, it's not unusual for it to get cold this time of the year for us, but this one is a little bit different than what it normally would be, the way it's traveling. Let's just put it that way. There's a big high pressure sitting over Greenland that's actually been, let's just say, manipulated in a way in which it's caused a lot of weather to be different than what it should be this time of year.
Yeah, and something last night we saw was like the coastline between Texas and Louisiana or somewhere in there got sleet last night. Or late yesterday evening.
As far over, almost to New Orleans.
Yeah, I got sleet. And I'm like, okay, no, we don't need that. Back up, go up north, do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always telling the weather what to do.
The sleet is south of us. That was sleeting south of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was further south than we are.
Yeah.
And Danny laughs at me because every time Mark from Weatherman Plus gives some kind of prediction of that cold weather's coming down here, I'm going, Mark, change it.
Keep it up north, Mark.
Mark, change that. Like he can do something about it, but it's just a running joke between Danny and I.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people are getting colder than us because we are like, other than South Texas and South Florida, we're about as far south as you can go in the United States. 30 more miles and we'd be in the Gulf.
Yeah, but we're not as far as you can go in the United States. I mean, you got South
Florida and South Texas. That's what I said. Other than those two,
we're about 30 miles from the Gulf.
What's the red lines over the Danny corn? That is ribbon.
That's ribbons.
Danny saw crows a couple of days ago, and I spent about an hour, hour and a half running ribbons back and forth.
Yep.
And so far it's worked. We've not had any crows.
As the ribbons blow in the wind like that, sit and flicker like that, it keeps crows, squirrels, deer, all that stuff stays away from your fields. You don't have to really worry about all that stuff.
How is the raised bed that I put together? It's doing great.
It's doing really good.
All my little plants are coming up, and I'm going to do a video sometime on Crazy Days. I've been trying all week to do a Crazy Days video, and it just hadn't happened. So maybe next week I'll try. And I've got a lot of little plants up. I actually covered it today, and going to leave it covered for the next couple of days. And we're just going to see what comes up. I'll probably have to transplant some stuff out. I mean, I sent Miss Lippy a picture, and she's laughing because I overplanted. Danny said, you overplanted.
I knew she
for that
overplanted.
Little bitty area.
Yeah.
I planted way too much. But I wanted to see what would come up, what might be transferable. You know, a lot of people are doing hotbeds or little seed trays and stuff like this. So I consider this a giant seed tray. We'll see what comes up and what I have to do with it.
Yeah, we're also having to think about, I got to, probably tomorrow, I got to spend some time covering my sweet potato draws because we can't lose them. We've got such beautiful sweet potato draws right now that I sure would be disappointed if I let them things, something happen to them. So
we didn't put them in the ground on purpose. I mean, they should have went in this week.
They should have went in this week, but we held off just because.
And so I think after this past Monday, they could go in, but then in a week or so, we have another little bit of a dip of cold weather for a few days.
Liz D says, my corn is 3 inches, is up 3 inches. It's supposed to get to 32 tonight. Should I cover them? If you have the ability to cover it, I would cover it if you can. We have such a large field, there's no way we can cover ours. We thought we might have enough agrafab frost protection blanket to cover it, but we realized we didn't. So I told her, I said, look.
We may tomorrow night, because tomorrow night's our coldest night.
Yeah.
We may cover some.
Yeah, we might cover some
We don't have enough to cover that whole field. Holler Lake Homestead. Danny, if I plant mustard greens or red clover for overwintering next year, will it put purple death nettle in our garden? Will it out, I guess, get rid of it?
I don't actually know, Holler Lake. We don't have that here. I'm not familiar with it. I know that mustard, if you get the hot type, will get rid of your root nematodes if you mow it down and turn it in within a 4 or 5 hour period. If you mow it and then turn it under, but you're gonna have to wait a couple of weeks before you plant because of a chemical process that the mustard goes through in the ground there, or your vegetables won't come up.
Thank y'all. Yes, I got a haircut. Danny did too. See?
Yeah, it's all gone. I about to freeze my tail off.
And
I told her.
I did not take him to
she
Brick
didn't.
Street Social.
She didn't take me to the
I
gentleman's
was going
club.
to till I found out it was $40 for a haircut.
Yeah, I ain't paying nobody $40 to cut my hair. I'll let it grow to my butt first.
And one of the girls uses a straight razor, and he said, ain't nobody coming near my neck with a straight razor. And I thought it'd make a cool video, but he kind of poo-pawed that idea.
I mean, nobody puts a straight razor on my neck but me. And sometimes I have to hold a gun against myself whenever I'm shaving to make sure I don't cut my own throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he don't use a straight razor,
no,
okay?
I don't use a straight razor. I have, but I don't.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Because believe it or not, guys, when I shave, I have never used shaving cream.
He don't.
That's one thing I do not use is shaving cream. I was raised and taught from a very young individual to dry shave, and that is how I shave. Now, most people can't do that, but my skin's about like leather. I mean, it literally.
Literally. Okay, we got some goodies this week. When I say goodies, I mean really goodies. Rathburn's Maple Sugar House Restaurant. Okay, we've got from them before, and the people that sent it before was Joe and Debbie, and they sent some more. Look at this. New York, because It was so good the first time. So we got New York maple syrup. And because I enjoyed the maple candy, they sent me some more, and you can see about half of it's gone already. And then they sent something special. Now this is, and about half of this is gone. This is maple cream. I'd never heard of that before, but y'all, I made some homemade bread this week, and it has cinnamon in it, and I put some butter on it, toast it a little bit, throw this maple cream on it. It is awesome.
Sheila, if you got horseradishes out, you might want to cover them too. I'll just be honest with you.
And one thing I think we forgot, Alaska Pure Birch Syrup. I don't remember who sent this, but they sent it from Alaska. This has a different taste. I didn't remember if we did a video or we talked about it on live, but it's kind of like our cane syrup. It has a touch of a different taste. I don't know how to explain it, but like cane syrup, it does have a different taste.
It has a little bit of a different bite to it.
Yeah. And the other thing, let me get it.
Oh, now this one, you got to show this one.
You're going to have to help.
Okay. Look at this, guys. This is handmade.
And this is only half of it.
Yeah, it's only half of it. It folds. I mean,
it's a rug. It is a latch hook rug. And Miss Kathy sent that. And y'all, I get a handwritten letter from Miss Kathy. She told me she was 70 years old. About a week and a half or 2 weeks ago was her birthday. So happy birthday, Miss Kathy. And she was working on this rug, I guess, through the winter. And so she finally said she got it finished and sent it to us. So thank you, Miss Kathy.
Hutch, congratulations on paying your house off. I think that was an awesome decision that you made. I think it's a very wise decision that you made.
Somebody's asked him where is AIG in Mississippi. They are somewhere out from Jackson. Because I was watching a video.
I think it's north of Jackson.
Yeah. I was watching a video earlier, and they lived in the Jackson area and sold their house and moved out in the country.
Scott Farm, yes, we use black plastic hay rolls to cover our hay. It's what company did we get them from? Do you remember? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't. It's just not coming to me.
It might come to me.
But there's how many of them's in a roll?
50.
50 in a roll. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's 50 of them in a roll. We get them from a specific company, and to slide around our hay, and we use agricultural ground cover staples, row cover staples to hold it on with.
Ground cover.
Row cover.
Ground cover.
Ground cover. Okay.
The staples that you use in ground cover is what we use.
Yeah.
And I have a friend in Arizona, Miss Donna. Met her right after we started. I haven't met her in person, but anyway, met her on our channel. Put it that way. She is in Arizona. She sends me letters off and on, and so she and I correspond back and forth. And then Mr. Dale sent a letter. He and Danny correspond off and on. He sends us messages.
Sharon says, Danny, I think I remember using Dr. Earth's Golden Bloom. On what plants do you use it on? I use it on all plants when they're blooming.
I just got through using some this week in the high tunnels.
Now, I also got something from Mr. Mike and Miss Jane for my farm all cub. And I don't know if I can get this up where you can see it. This is a wrench specifically made by International Harvester. It's got a bunch of numbers on it here. I probably can't get them up there. Anyway, you can see that specifically for taking off the wedges and stuff like that that's underneath the tractor and all. Guys, stuff like this means more to me than gold and silver. You know what I mean?
That it does.
That it does. I mean, when I get parts for the Farm All Cub or things like that, that just blesses my heart more than anything in the world, because I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy, and I love antique stuff that is custom made to work on particular pieces of equipment with. and the Farmall Cub has been my baby for quite some time to try to literally get back to as close to normal. Now, I am in the process of changing it from 6 volt to 12 volt. I went to town today and finally found a battery that will fit in my 6 volt box, but it cost me both arms and one leg to be able to purchase it, but it will fit inside my battery box. Now, I don't know about the height of it yet, but I do know that the width and the length works really good.
Okay, let me talk about McCaskill Family Farms in Braggadocia, Missouri.
Yes.
That is where we get our popcorn. It is organic popcorn. It's fantastic. We also get our basmati rice. They also have brown rice. They have basmati,
yes.
Well, they have rice flour, I think, and they have popcorn flour or popcorn meal. I don't remember how it's worded. Cornmeal. They have lots of things.
They have cornmeal made from popcorn.
Yeah, that's it. And if you mention that Deep South sent you, they will love it. Believe me. We talked to Miss Kay. I did. Danny didn't. I talked to Miss Kay here a while back when I ordered I've ordered 2 bags of popcorn, 50-pound bags each time. I think it's 50 pounds, wasn't it? Or 25?
25 pounds.
25 each time. And we are supposed to be making
cornmeal
and grits. And somebody is busy on a barn and cow fencing.
William Jones says, did you find plates for the planter? No, I did not find any plates, but a gentleman sent me the numbers for all the different plates that he uses on his 174 Richmond planter. I haven't went online and looked them up or anything like that yet, but he did send me all the numbers for the plates, and he told me it was the thick ones. It was not the thin ones, so I haven't had a chance to do any of that yet. That's where I'm at on that process.
Yeah. Braggadocia popcorn is very, very good.
Yes.
We usually eat some several times a week at night. And you can't beat it because it's grown in Missouri.
Yeah. S. Rob says, do you have to go through your local government to add a pond where you live? No. You just call a guy with a dozer and push a pond here anywhere you want. Now, if you close off a running creek or there's a big structure of water, then you have to go through a process. But
we're not there. So.
No, we just went through a holler we already had and just took. Matter of fact, on our property here, we dug 2 of them and had them put in. We don't have to contact nobody. We don't have to tell nobody nothing. Matter of fact, I wouldn't do it anyway.
Cammie said they ate some of the McCaskill popcorn today. It is good, ain't it?
It is good.
Oh, I'm telling y'all, and this is good too. I just had a piece of this maple candy. I didn't even know they made maple sugar candy. What do they call it? Maple Sugar House. It's just maple sugar. Yeah, it's awesome.
Country Girl says, how many times should I till brand new ground with a tractor? Well, it depends on what kind of equipment you got, girl. If you got a breaking plow or a moldboard plow, turn plow, whatever you want to call it, you need to do that first. Usually after I do that, I section hair mine off and then I subsoil it. And then I section hair it again, and then I till it, and that's it till I plant it.
Okay, now Nicole Wood, how do you know if you have water underground? What mount do you recommend to look at to find water? And they had someone out to drill a well, and they found no water. They're not understanding that.
First of all, if you're going to drill a well, you need to look and see what the land looks like. You need to find out what kind of trees are growing around there. Here, I find water real easy because I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for black gum trees, poplar trees, things to this nature. When I find these trees growing on the edge of a hill or something like that, I automatically know that water's within 10 or 15 feet of the top of the ground there. So you've just basically got to know your timber, your trees, your bushes, and water. You'll hit water usually on the side of a hill faster than you will on top of a hill or even in the bottom of a holler. I'm talking about good water now. So I drilled my own well here behind the house and hit water at 10 foot and stayed in it, 50 feet deep. It's not a problem on our new property that we purchased. I've done located several springs on it by looking at the timber and the trees and just locations. Now, there are places, depending on where you live, that there may not be any underground aquifers. So you need to talk to a good, reputable well drilling service before you even start thinking about it.
Plus, there are people that can, what they call witch water.
There are people who do that, yeah.
But it's few and far between now. Used to, the old people knew how to do that. And Danny knows how, but he's not traveling around doing that.
I'm not traveling around. I'm not witching people's water for them. I can do it, but I'm not going to.
Would sweet gum trees be a good indicator?
Not really, because sweet gum trees will grow on the top of a bald open hill. Yeah.
With nothing around.
With nothing around them. Yeah, you need a black gum or a poplar or willows or something of that nature.
Now, Ben and Andrew from VW Family Farm said, dropping by while grilling some pork steaks. They gonna rub it in. They grilling.
Grilling?
It must not be snowing there.
It must not be that cold there, because it's freaking cold here.
Y'all are bundled up in the parka, right?
I know.
Out there grilling?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
And y'all want to get some good meat, you know?
Yeah, go to VW
Go to
Farms.
VW Farms. Go check them out, because, I mean, I know it's too far for them from us. Of course, we raise our own animals anyway, but they deliver and make. I mean, guys, they got a lot of meat they sell, and some good quality meat too.
They raise their own cows and stuff. It's not
cows,
like you're
pigs,
It's
chickens.
not like you're getting it from somebody you don't know.
Right.
You can get good quality stuff.
Right.
Danny and I have been raising our own. Finally, the first 3 or 4 years, we didn't have our own meat, but now the last couple of 3 years, we've had our own meat birds, our own turkeys, pigs,
cattle,
cows.
I mean, we eat steaks on a regular basis.
Rabbits. For a while, we had so many rabbits.
Oh,
yes.
We
processed rabbits on a regular basis. So I finally said, okay, now we have rabbits, but we're not breeding them. We have a male and 2 females, and we can breed if we want, but we just haven't been because we've got other things going on. But in the future, we probably will. So we'd have our own meat. But if you don't, check out VW Farms. I think they do chickens too.
Yeah, they do chickens, yeah. Well, they did. I guess they still do.
I think they did chickens, pigs, and cows, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, everybody's saying they have problems with ads during our live streams.
Okay, there was something that popped up, and if y'all were getting ads during the live stream, I'll have to go back and turn something off because it popped up something about mid-rolls during the live stream or something, and we've been having issues the last 3 times or 4 times that we've done live streams. We get absolutely no ads. For 24 to 48 hours, no ads in our live streams unless it's just not showing up on our side. That meant we did our live streams. All our views are during the time that there's no ads. And so I thought maybe I'd uncheck something. So earlier when it said something about the ads, I clicked it again. So maybe it's putting ads while we're live streaming. I don't know. YouTube goes crazy sometimes. They're saying they're getting them. So
that's during the live stream. That's YouTube for you, though. I mean, that is just...
I did click that button thinking I'd unclick something.
Okay.
So that's my fault. So I'll have to... I mean, if y'all don't want ads during our thing, I'm going to have to go back and unclick something. I didn't know that what was going on with YouTube, that usually they put too many ads in our thing. I went back about 4 weeks ago and checked one of our videos this morning, and it was a live stream, and there was probably 30 ads in an hour and 15-minute video. So I had to take out a lot. See, that drops our money. But I took out a lot of the ads. And then I went to the last 2 weeks, I've been watching the live streams when we're over. And for 24 to 48 hours, we have absolutely no ads whatsoever. But 2 or 3 weeks before, they were putting 20 and 30 ads in it. So go figure.
Okay. Another, Vicky said, are you going to get another this and that? No, we have a friend who actually raises pigs now. And he makes us a really good deal on them. He takes them to the slaughterhouse for us. We just go pay to have them cut up, and we tell him what we want and how we want it. And it's a whole lot easier on us, especially as busy as we are.
No, you got another one?
And Debbie said, Danny, you said put worms in your containers when you put your garden in containers. How many? We don't put worms in our containers. We use our own soil from our rotted down brush piles, and it already has the worms in it when we put it in the containers. The containers will usually end up with as high as hundreds of worms in one container.
But so, if they don't have that, they can go
You can go to Walmart and buy the little small fishing worms, the red wigglers, and you can bring them home and just dump them in yours. I would dump one thing of worms per container because there's only about 25 to 30 worms.
Not many compared.
In one of those little things. So I would put one thing of worms per container.
I went to Amazon and didn't see the popcorn. It is not our Amazon.
It's not our Amazon. No.
You have to go to McCaskillFamilyFarms.com. It is their website. Go to it and just mention Deep South when you get there, or either call them. You can call in an order.
Yeah, you can call in an order and tell them that that Deep South sent you.
All right. So they're all getting ads. So I'll have to go back and unclick something. It's hard to keep up with this. Nadia says they're still at the hospital with her husband. Please continue to pray. Yes, ma'am.
That we do. What do worms eat? It's what do they not eat? Worms don't eat citrus. They don't eat raw meat, onions and stuff like that, bones.
But they will eat any fruits and vegetables, paper,
cardboard, newspapers. Now they don't put the newspapers with the bright colored ink on it. Just standard old-fashioned newspapers. Don't use magazines and stuff like that. You want to put a little bit of sand in there because they got to crawl just like a chicken does. Things like cornmeal, just food scraps, basically.
All for truth and freedom. Yes, you can use Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. You can order those from Amazon. Green Greg's on YouTube has a YouTube channel, and he...
Does he still raise worms?
I don't know.
I don't know if he still raises worms or
not. But that's what Green Greg's was known for, is his worm farm. He sold worms for many years. I see Mr. Randy ordered some popcorn. Yes.
Tammy said, Danny, you would make an excellent preacher. Well...
He used to be.
I used to be one. Oh.
What do worms eat in your buckets? Well, they pretty much...
They feed off of
the dirt.
There's pieces of rotted wood. There's just soil, just good healthy soil. The worms can live off of it. Now, when you fill a bucket up with it, by the end of summer, the bucket will have gone down about 6 inches. Now, believe it or not, they eat that soil and they turn it into nothing but pure worm castings.
Mark says they're going down to 27 tonight in East Central Alabama.
Yep. I saw them last night on their live stream, sit and watched them.
Yeah. New Day Farm, hello. Will spraying your plants with water before daylight keep the frost from burning them?
Yes. If you're going to get out there before daylight in freezing temperatures and do it lots of times, you have to be careful, though, because you don't want to freeze your plants, but lots of people put misters and waterers in these big orchards and stuff, and they cover their fruit with ice because if they do that, sometimes it helps preserve them. Anyone seen Pastor Donnie from Prep from Eternity Homestead? He's on here tonight, Mary. He was.
Yeah, I think he was a while ago. Somebody said, how far apart should peppers be so that they don't cross-pollinate?
Oh, my word. Peppers that don't cross-pollinate, we usually put ours about 100 yards apart. But if you put hot peppers and this is one thing that Mark and them was talking about last night on our live stream. If you got hot peppers and sweet peppers growing together, You won't notice it this year, but if you save the seeds from them, next year all your sweet peppers will be hot peppers because literally, if you're going to grow sweet peppers, you need to grow them in one location. You need to grow hot peppers a good 50 to 100 yards away in a totally different or on the opposite side of your house. Put them on one side of your house, put them on the other side of your house so that they got a barrier between it.
Okay, y'all want to get Danny on his rant and rave.
Don't get me on this rant and rave about bamboo.
Pros and cons of bamboo.
There are no pros for bamboo, okay? Well, everybody goes, oh, but there's clumping bamboo. Bamboo is bamboo, okay? The roots, well, bamboo are going to go to the nearest water source. I don't care what kind of bamboo it is, and I got bad issues with bamboo. I'm just going to tell you, because I imagine I got some things that's going to turn out to be bad with me with bamboo in the near future.
Okay, they're saying Green Greg's was hit by that tornado, and so he's closing his worm farm for now. So,
I thought I had heard something about that.
I thought I had too, but I wasn't going to say anything till I could check it out because I thought I saw that he said something about, you know, either slowing down or doing something different because I saw it about a month or so ago. Bamboo is horrible. Full stop.
Look. If anybody put bamboo on my property, I would chop their hands off. You know, I mean, literally. I hate that stuff. It will destroy your property.
Yeah. Hills Mill says, great barn video with new additions on Patreon. Are you going to increase your herd?
No, Mickey, I'm not going to increase my herd, but I might need some more poplar.
We've been discussing that.
We've been trying to decide if we want more poplar or not.
So we need to get with you sometime soon.
We're actually going to extend the barn even more, and we are trying to decide, do we want to go ahead and just put all poplar around it like we did this one over here, or what we want to do. So we'll have to get with you on that one.
Cool breeze. Now I knew a guy back when I worked in Hattiesburg. We had a guy that rented one of our apartments called Cool Breeze. I can just remember that name. That's what we called him all the time, Cool Breeze.
Can you companion plant onions with nightshades? I don't see why you can't, to be honest with you. Just be careful because onions are heavy nitrogen feeders, and you've got to really dump the nitrogen to them. And if you dump too much nitrogen to pepper plants or anything like that, you're just going to have big old tall bushy leggy plants and you're not really going to get many peppers off of them. So just be aware of what you put onions with because you have to put so much nitrogen to them.
Raw Food Writer says bamboo is from China. Need I say more?
That amen.
Okay, let's see. Somebody says, I love bamboo when I can cut it off somebody else's property.
Yeah.
It makes great sticks. It makes great fishing poles. As long as it's dead and it's not growing on your property.
Yeah, if it's growing somewhere in a river swamp somewhere, it's fine. But somebody says, Carla says, how can I get rid of bamboo? There is a product out there called Spike. You spray it, or arsenic. You can either use arsenic or Spike. You spray that joker and it will kill it dead. As a matter of fact, I had some in another county I lived in. A man wouldn't take care of his side of my property, and I sprayed it down my fence row, and it killed every tree, it killed everything within any root that come under that fence. It killed that tree, no matter which side the fence is on, mine or his.
Yeah, several people are saying they have issues with neighbors planting it. Mr. John said he has the clumping, and his hasn't spread in 10 years. So
we've got neighbors that's got clumping next to us, and the junk looks like it's going crazy.
Let's see. Some people say, lucky for them, it won't grow there. What do you think about West Virginia for homesteading? I don't know much about West Virginia.
West Virginia, I got nothing against West Virginia. You know, don't get me wrong. I've been there many, many, many times.
Is that where your brother went to school?
No, I spent a lot of time in Roanoke, Virginia. That's regular Virginia. West Virginia's further over than that. But I really don't recommend West Virginia for homesteading, just simply because there's just not any really good soil up there. It's just not a. It's just, there's no flat land hardly, unless you find a little valley somewhere. But I don't. I wouldn't recommend. No, I wouldn't recommend West Virginia.
All right, Ann says, which tiller is the easiest to handle, front or back end propelled hand tillers?
Rear tiller. Do not get the front one. The front one will jerk you around, drag you all over the place. You want rear time ones.
Yeah, somebody says privy, bamboo, and kudzu. Just pack up and move to somewhere else. We have some privy on our place.
Yeah, we've got privy. As a matter of fact, we spent a ton of money paying a trackhoe to clean it up.
Our biggest thing is smilax.
Smilax and tongue nuts.
Yep. If you ever get a tongue nut on your place,
you're cursed.
You just as well to chop it down, get all the tongue nuts, throw them away, burn them, whatever.
Don't throw them away, burn them.
Yeah, because they'll probably come up somewhere else. I think every tongue nut that's hit the ground in this place has come up. They're that prolific.
Well, the ground's that rich over there. They just...
Yeah.
Wanda and I spent one day over there and probably pulled up 500 tongue nut trees.
That were about this tall.
About 6 to 8 inches tall.
Now, I could sell them for $1 a piece if y'all want
them. Don't curse nobody that way. It's about like mimosa trees. Do not do that to anybody.
The oak trees here in our yard are the same way. I could pull up hundreds of oak trees every year in the spring. Danny usually just mows them on down when he mows. But if I could sell the oak trees, the little starts about this big, and he's like, no. We're not doing that.
We mow down thousands of oak trees every year.
Yeah. New Day says they have mesquite. They call it a devil tree.
Oh, yeah. They're out west then. We're going to grow grapes this year. We have clay. Any suggestions how to grow them? Lots of compost and gypsum. Make sure you put some gypsum in clay because it'll help break them clay clods up.
Tongue nuts or T-O-N-G.
Does anyone know how to change the card you use for Super Chat? My bank made me get a new one because someone in Australia tried to use it. I don't know. The I am of me. I don't know.
Somebody says they grow in bamboo. They're bamboo in tub for the sticks. Yeah, if it's contained in something, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And the sticks are really good. Let's see. I love mimosa trees, great nitrogen fixers, and they are pretty. I love mimosas. We have one in the backyard, but if he didn't mow on a regular basis,
we'd have 100,000 of them growing on our property everywhere. I mow them suckers down
I pull them up out of flower beds, pull them up out of everywhere. If you don't keep them under control, they'll take
your property over and destroy it. Yeah.
One tree is beautiful, but you have to keep it under control.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
A lot of people say, yeah, but if you cut it back every year, it won't do that. I'm not spending time going back copicing trees. That's not copicing trees is not my thing.
Chinaberry trees.
We have China ball trees on that property that we bought.
Yes.
And I pushed up a dozen of them this past winter already, and I found 2 more now that they're blooming out. I got to get them pushed up.
Let's see. Mimosas also have some medicinal uses. Yes, they do.
I can't say nothing bad. Lots of these trees have medicinal uses. Kudzu has a medicinal use. Smilax has medicinal uses. You can eat it, but sometimes when things are invasive, it's just not worth it.
Unless you can keep it under control. Because that's what we're trying to show people when we showed the property on Pecan Grove. We tried to show them how bad this property had gotten. Now, they had done some work. Don't get me wrong. They had done some work, and they had cleared up some places. But we found even where they cleared up, they didn't get the smilax roots. And Danny, huge. I'm talking huge. Just
2 to 3 feet in diameter.
And this deep.
Yeah.
And just peel up smilax. if you do not get the roots up, they just keep coming up. They've just been mowing it off. And so now we have all these smilax everywhere, and some of the vines are like this big around smilax vines.
Yeah.
The wisteria was another one. Oh my, the wisteria was so big, and so it was just killing the pecan trees. And Danny has pulled up wisteria and pulled up wisteria and dug up roots. And you know, if you keep wisteria in a clump, it's okay.
Somebody asked, how's my thumb? This is the thumb that I got the end cut off of. It has grown back some. It is, it's about, I don't know, it's about half an inch shorter than the other one. I'm lucky to even have a thumbnail come back on. It's still numb. I can't feel the end of it, but at least it's still there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Stacy says they have a lot of sassafras trees coming up everywhere.
Sassafras has a blight that's hit it in our area and has killed all the sassafras trees. We don't even have any sassafras anymore. They all died.
Yeah. Wild blackberries grow everywhere. Yep. You can't, if you ever let those just take over and get, yeah, Danny bumped everything, I think, a while ago. If you let blackberries take over, a place I lived once the fields had just been let go. Nobody had bush hogged anything in 10, 15 years. And there were huge, the size of this room here that we're in, blackberry mounds. And we just had to keep chopping away with it till we could get to the very center and get rid of them. It took us a year or two to get rid of blackberries because there were so many in that area. Somebody's asked him what happened to your thumb.
I cut the end of it off when I was splitting wood.
Not in the wood splitter.
Not in the wood splitter. The wood itself did it.
Yeah.
Danny, will a tiny chitted potato grow a large potato? The size of the chit makes no difference about the size of the potatoes. Lots of people throw that out there. There's no truth to it. As long as it's one eye and it gets a good root system going to it and you put the right amount of fertilizer to it, it'll grow just as big a potato as a whole potato thrown in the ground will grow.
All right, so Brody is asking a good question here. Let me get back up here. What would you say if the best vegetable to grow for in terms of healthiness and convenience to grow and harvest?
Convenience to grow and harvest. I would probably say sweet potatoes.
I would.
Sweet potatoes is probably the most nutritious, healthy food source out there. It's a superfood. You plant it, fertilize it a couple of times, and very little maintenance to it, and just let it go. Keep the deer away from it. Now you got to keep the animals away.
And we do have a book, but we're out. I got to go get them Monday.
I was going to show them a book, but we're out.
We're out of the sweet potatoes. We have English peas and carrot books, but my sweet potatoes out right now. But I'll have some Monday.
Sandra says, "How far apart should sweet potatoes be planted?" We plant ours about every 16 inches apart. To be honest with you.
I'm getting sleepy. Where did you guys say y'all buy your popcorn from?
McCaskill Farms.
McCaskill Family Farms.
Yeah. In
Braggadocio, Missouri. Have you ever tried growing tobacco?
I grew tobacco one time. Didn't have a lot of success with it here in the deep south. We have wild tobacco that grows in the deep south. But I do have tobacco seeds. I have a few of them still left.
Yeah, we thought about trying it, but we just hadn't got around.
Just haven't had.
Okay, somebody says, any idea what variety of pecan trees that we have at Pecan Grove?
They're just seedling pecans. Whatever they come up to be, we'll find out when they make a pecan. You know, some of them probably little, some of them may be big. We don't even know. What
is the best fertilizer for pecan trees?
Oh, the best fertilizer for pecan trees is a well-balanced fertilizer like 13, 13, 13. Want to make sure you use zinc because pecan trees love zinc. You need lime, a good bit of lime in the soil for pecan trees. And other than that, they should do really, really good.
What is tobacco good for?
Tobacco is good for worming. If you have something that has worms,
Any of your animals.
Any of your animals, even people.
Yeah.
If you get a wasp bite, you can chew up a little tobacco and put it on a wasp bite or a bee sting or something like that. It kills the pain on that. The old timers will tell you it's just a good favorite pastime to sit around and chew and dip and spit and whatever. You know what I mean?
Roll it and smoke it.
Yep.
It has medicinal issues too, or things. Hey, Nanny Joyce.
Is planting white sweet potatoes the same process as orange ones? Yes, exactly the same.
All right.
Mark the Plowboy says rabbit tobacco. Yep.
We have seeds for that too.
We have seeds. We did have seeds. I guess we still do.
We did have some. And then there's snapping turtle oil from Fatty Neck. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. What is the best fertilizer for Irish potatoes?
I use 8-24-24 to get it going, and then once I get them up, I side dress them with triple 13, and that's it. That's all I do. One thing about Irish potatoes is they do really good in new ground. The only thing you have to worry about is wire worms, especially if the ground has a lot of grass on it before you do it. But new ground grows some wonderful potatoes with a small amount of work. I mean, just really a small amount. So you have to look to see if they're determinate or indeterminate. If they're determinate, you don't have to plow any dirt up to them. But if they're indeterminate, you need to throw some dirt to them.
Thank you, I am of me. She must have figured it out.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So what do you plant in your pasture for cattle?
Pensacola Bahia grass. Don't give me any Bermuda grass. I hate that stuff. I would shoot somebody for putting Bermuda grass on my property. I mean, Bermuda grass to me is the worst thing you can do to a piece of property. I like Argentina Bahia, Pensacola Bahia. That's the two good grasses. Crabgrass does well for cattle, stuff like that. No centipede, no St. Augustine, none of that. You want good, tall grass. And the reason for that is and same thing for goats, same thing for sheep and all that, is the the stomach worms. They crawl up if the grass is wet. They crawl up about 6 inches high on the grass, and if the animals graze below that while the grass is wet, then you end up with a worm infestation in your livestock.
And then you need the tobacco.
Then you need the tobacco, yeah. Garlic will do the same thing as tobacco for worming.
Yeah.
But that's why you want tall grass.
Okay, so Mark asked if you can prune fruit trees with flowers on them already.
You can. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. Now, peach trees, yes, you can do peach trees that way, but most of your other fruit trees, I don't recommend doing them whenever they have flowers on them.
Papa's Garden and Nursery wants to know, where do you find 8-24-24?
We just get it here at our local feed store. I mean,
if y'all have local feed stores, I know a lot of you are used to going to Tractor Supply.
Stay away from Tractor Supply. Stay away from Walmart. Stay away from these places like that.
If you can find it at
Home Depot, don't go to Home Depot. Don't go to Lowe's. Go to a local feed store.
If you have one in your town, check. Lots of people don't even know because it's usually a little out of the way place that only farmers know about.
Yeah.
But check for it because that's one of your best places for getting your fertilizers. Sometimes seeds, and sometimes they carry plants and stuff.
Lee says, did you get your planter straightened out? It's still just like it was. I ain't got no new parts for it or anything like that. It was working so good with the parts that's on it till I'm just going to keep using it till I have time to actually try to track down the original parts.
All right, Lady Hammer says, last year my large pecan tree got black spots on the leaves and ruined the pecan crop.
That is a blight that hits pecan trees. The sad part about it is really the only way to control it is to spray the trees with chemicals to get rid of it. It's usually brought on by a wet, rainy spring during the month of usually around May or something like that. Is usually what causes it to happen.
Rule King might have, what did I do?
I don't know, but you just got rid of everything.
Ad skipped. It was asked to me about ad skipped. Hold on.
Restore the chat first.
Okay.
Okay, put it in the pop out.
And then bring back up my
And
other.
bring back OBS.
Now, I don't know if I stopped ads or not, but we'll see. Something popped up and I just hit it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by 13, 13, 13?
That's your NPK, your nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus and stuff. That's the analysis of each one. That's guaranteed analysis in the bag when you purchase it.
Okay, is clover bad for pastures?
No, you want clover in your pastures.
We just planted a lot.
We just planted tons of it in our pastures over at Pecan Grove. Now, one thing I will say, you have to be careful if you put too much clover. If you got animals that ain't used to it, they can bloat on you. Do be cautious of that.
Okay, Cherry Aspiring Homestead will be closing on their home outside of Columbia, Mississippi on the 27th. Please pray for us that we get our homestead set up, and we will be looking for a good church in the area as well. I have family there. I don't know what kind of church you're looking for, but Columbia has lots of churches.
Lots and lots of churches.
So you should be able to find something there, believe me. A mom and pop feed store, yes. Support those businesses.
Melissa Stuckley, somebody says, John Lynch, what's Billy's bone sauce? Go to Billy's Permapasture Farms YouTube channel and go in their link in their description down there, and Billy sells a product called bone sauce that we put around our property and everything else. It deters deer and stuff like that. It's been working pretty good for us for the last several years. That's where you get it at. Papa's Garden says, what can you use instead of 8-24-24 if you can't find it? Anytime Papa's Gardens, you plant anything, you don't want to put a high nitrogen up front because it's just too powerful for the little plants and seeds to handle. You want a low nitrogen, high phosphorus, high potassium, if your soil analysis calls for that. And then once you get the plant going good, then you can dump your nitrogen to it or whatever you need, or potassium or phosphorus, whichever your soil analysis calls for. But fish emulsion does really good up front if you can't find that analysis. That's the other thing that we use is fish emulsion.
Miss Gail said she finally got to get an Alexa Pure. Yes.
Oh, hold on. Let's see here.
It's Permapastures Farm.
Yeah.
And I think they have a website, but I don't know if it's .com. But they should be in their description of their videos.
Joan says, Danny, what's the best fertilizer for a fig tree? The best thing you can do for a fig tree is compost and deep mulch, because all the roots on a fig tree grows on the top surface of the soil. You got to keep those roots damp. You got to keep them cool and keep them with compost. Now, mine's near the chicken pen, and it gets all the fertilizer it needs from the chicken pen. It's doing fantastic.
Renee said she bought chicken feed from a local feed store. They didn't have organic, but they had non-GMO. Is one better than the other for chickens?
I'll be honest with you, chicken don't know the difference. It don't matter a bit. We used to try to do all that with our chickens, and now we just buy whatever we can get for our chickens.
And I just feed them the extra greens and stuff we have, let them out and do the yard work around their pen and stuff like that. And our chickens are always healthy looking. We don't have any issues with them so far. They haven't even molted this time.
No, they didn't molt this year.
They might shortly, but they haven't so far. They always look healthy. I mean, I don't know, but we do give them 22% laying pellets.
Oh, let's see. Sharon says, what's the best way to keep raccoons, rabbits, and groundhogs out of your garden? Well, anybody who knows me knows what the answer to that's going to be. It's called shoot them. You got to be out there at night. You got to be there with a light when they come, and when they show up, you just got to put a bullet in them. That's what we do. I mean, we rid our place of every creature that don't belong to us.
That doesn't mean that there aren't squirrels, birds.
Now we have, if you come here, you listen to our videos, you'll hear all the birds, and you'll hear squirrels, and you'll hear all kind of crows and everything. As long as they're not messing with what we have,
they live.
They live.
Now, there was a bird eating a fish the other day, but he didn't get him.
I didn't shoot him. But we have a theory here if we have, like, I plant my corn, and if I see crows out there pulling up my corn, then our place all of a sudden becomes a no-fly zone. Anything that flies over my property gets dropped to the ground. It's a no-fly zone until the corn gets tall enough that they can't pull it up out of the ground. Then it becomes a fly zone again. I mean, we just have rules. I mean, that's the way you survive.
If a squirrel goes across the back porch with a peach in his mouth,
yep, he gets shot.
That's not good.
That's not good. He just
a plum.
Yep. If I catch one sitting on a fence post, he's got one of my plums in his mouth. He just gets shot.
Been there, done that.
Every so often, if the squirrel stays in the woods,
or he's just playing in
the yard, I have no problem with him. But if I catch him in my fruit trees, he's dead. Or in our strawberry beds or anything.
Or the fig tree when the figs are just perfectly ripe.
Yep.
And you have these birds keep darting in, eating the figs. We have been known to get rid of a few just so we can pick our figs.
Yeah.
Before and after, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's just when the figs are getting ripe.
I always tell people to invest in a very high quality air rifle. I prefer the 22 caliber. Mine has interchangeable barrels. I got a 177 barrel or a 22 caliber barrel. The 22 does a little bit better job than the 177. Has more knockdown. You can ask Wanda. I've killed things up to 100 yards away with it. I've literally sat on our back deck and 100 yards away shot squirrels out of peach trees trying to get my peaches on the next hill across the pond over there. So I tell people, invest in a very high-powered air rifle. Don't get these cheap things. Get you a good one. Mine was about close to $300 probably 20 years ago, but you just got to get a good one.
Okay, everybody's putting up their prayer request, and so we want to be sure and just keep an eye out on this weather. Lots of you are getting down a lot lower than we are, and yeah, we planted kind of early. For most of y'all, it would seem early. For us, it's almost time to plant everything. Like 2 weeks, we should be planting any vegetables out. But we're still getting these little cool snaps, so we are having to cover.
Andy, I would add some zinc. I would add probably 5 pounds of zinc to that tree and some good, heavy, well-balanced fertilizer out around the limb spread of that tree to try to see if I couldn't get the meats in it to start filling out. It sounds like it's just not getting the proper nutrition.
Yeah. Coastal Redwood, please pray for everyone in the U.S. and keep us all safe this coming Tuesday. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Did you name a brand of air rifle?
Mine has been discontinued. I went. Somebody wanted one just like mine. That was here one day, and we went and looked. Mine's an RS 22.
Is Remo a good quality?
Made by Beeman. The thing weighs about 15 pounds. It's so heavy. It's really heavy. But they've quit making it. I honestly don't know what the next best one is because I just haven't looked.
But somebody's asking about Remo, R-E-M-O.
I don't know. I haven't looked at them. I haven't looked at any of the specs on them. I can't tell you.
Pyramid Air, somebody said, is a good selection. We have some solid requests, different ones. Joe Mama says pray for Scott, her husband. We want to remember Miss Lydia's husband. Let's see, what else? Pamela for health issues. Graham says, should I put hay around corn and potatoes? The temperatures would be around 31.
I would, to keep them from burning the leaves on them, yeah.
Pray for Miss Brenda. Let's see, I'm just reading that the streets will stay. Oh, no, they're talking to somebody else, okay.
Mickey says that the Gammo air rifle, he said he still hit a squirrel at 100 yards.
Yeah.
Mark says Ruger makes a good air rifle.
Okay.
So I'm not familiar with most of these because I've got the one I've got, and when I got it, I just
You
never
didn't look for nothing else.
I ain't look for nothing else because this one does so well.
Now this one I can shoot, but it is very heavy.
It's very heavy, yes.
Miss Christie says he has back and hip pain. I got back and hip pain and neck pain and everything else.
I think ours is just called getting old.
I think it's called we've been working.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot going on and doing a lot of things, and we did do a special live yesterday for
Yes,
any
we
of you
did.
that might have missed it. 10 years ago this week, Danny and I started talking for the first time, and we met the first week of April, and then we got married July the 19th, right?
Yeah.
He says I always miss it. We got married July the 19th. So, yes, this week, we don't know exactly which day. We just know it was the middle of March when we started talking. And so we did a special live yesterday, kind of explaining a little about our story and our faith. So if you hadn't seen it, go check it out. Do you need a compressor for your air rifle?
No, mine's not a CO2. No, mine's not a CO2 one. Mine is a breakdown barrel.
Milk and honey, prayers that my husband can keep it together and not quit farming. That is a tough thing for a lot of people.
That's a tough cause. As a matter of fact, that's going to probably be a little bit about the tip tonight. But
yeah.
But we try to be encouraging to people when we do these live streams. We try not to be a doom and gloom. We try to give as much information out as we can, and just try to help as many people as we can.
All right. Well, hot peppers in a greenhouse crossbreed with mild peppers 10 feet away?
Yes.
They won't the first year.
Not the first year, but if you save seeds from them, they will cross-pollinate. They will not get hot when you plant it beside them, but they will if you save the seed from
them. Will bone sauce work for cats? I don't know. I doubt
no,
it.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
In fact, our cows kind of wanted to eat
Our cows
on
went up there and eat it and licked it off the post.
I put some on a post and turned around, and one of the cows was licking it off, and I'm like, okay, it's not poison.
It's not poison.
The cows liked it.
They loved it.
Okay. I guess we're pretty close to the end, so
yeah.
Let's have our prayer, and then Danny will talk about his tip that if he don't forget.
If I don't forget. That's becoming an issue, I'll tell you.
Well, you didn't tell me, so I'm just not sure.
Okay. Wanda's always on me about my hair. She's the one that made me cut all my hair off. Now my head's freezing.
Well, that's all right.
Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. We just want to tell you we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being so kind and so generous to us, Lord. And Father, you allowed us to wake up this morning. You allowed us to put our shoes on and allowed us to take them off this night, Lord. And thank you for that. Lord, we looked at your chat tonight, and many prayer requests have gone up, Father. Lots of people having a lot of issues with illnesses, Father. A lot of people having problems with the remainders of the virus, and still trying to deal with some of that. And people with lots of cancer issues I saw, and people with biopsies and things going on, Lord. And Father, I'm praying for good results, negative. I want everything to be negative, Lord. I don't want anything being positive. I want everything to be negative. I'm speaking healing tonight in the name of Christ on all the people who put up prayer requests in the chat tonight for healing, Lord. I saw where some mentioned that some of the things that they needed was so personal that they couldn't mention them, and that's perfectly fine, because some things are only meant to be shared between us and you, Lord. And those are the things that are intimate and very close and dear and near to someone's heart. And Father, those are the things that you pay special attention to. And I'm asking that you pay special attention to the request that was mentioned tonight about those things, Lord. And Father, the condition of our country, I mean, Father, you know, you told me three years ago that your hand had been lifted off this country. And that literally I didn't have to tell anyone anything anymore, because you are going to bring judgment upon this nation, just like you did the land of Egypt. And Father, you remember me, I begged and pleaded with you to be kind and generous to this nation. And you said, her cup of iniquity is full. Judgment must happen. And it must begin at the house of God, because when wickedness progresses when good people do nothing. And Father, forgive us for having not been more diligent to be better stewards of the things that you've blessed us with here in this nation. And I'm just asking now that you, as we go through the judgments that's going to come upon this country, that you'll be kind to those that belong to you, Father. You've said in your scriptures that you've not lost one that the Father gave to you. And Father, that you told us to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the things that's listed before that will be added to those people, Lord. But you also expect us to be the kind of people who prepare ahead of time. You're not going to just magically reach down here and just lay something in our lap. You expect us to put foot to the ground, do the best that we can do, and then when all else fails, then our faith kicks in, and Father, you kick in and kick out the windows of heaven, and you meet our needs, Father. That's what we love about you. You're always there in a moment's notice when we need someone to talk to. You're closer than a brother, you said. And Father, we just appreciate that. So tonight, as we close out our prayer, we want to give you thanks for everything that you've done for us, both good and even the evil that you've allowed in our lives, because it is those evil things that come upon us that draws our faith and makes it stronger. It allows you to show us grace and mercy. And Father, it helps us to even love you that much more. And with that, we say we love you and we appreciate you. Forgive us where we failed you. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Oh, thank you, Cool Breeze.
Thank you, Cool Breeze.
You have a chat. Whatever.
What?
Tip.
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 Oh, my word. Tip.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, I was thinking about the one that paid their house off tonight. You know, or yesterday. They actually decided to go pay their house off, and they were amazed at what they felt like being debt free. And Goss Mania said they had till summer, this June I think it was, they're gonna be paying their stuff off. Theirs,
yeah.
You know, there's never a better feeling than when you go ahead and do what's right. And my tip for tonight is to be persistent. Do not be wishy-washy. The Bible says, don't be like a boat out in the water that's tossed to and fro. Don't be double-minded. Don't be all these types of things. Be persistent in your endeavor to accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. Be persistent. If you plan on paying something off, be persistent. Don't allow little petty things to come along and rob you and nickel and dime you to death to the point where you can't, you just don't see any way to do it. Just go ahead and say, it's kind of like when you give your money to the Lord or to help someone else. You say, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to live with what I have left. I'm going to make do with what I have left. Be persistent in your preparing, in your stocking up, in your gardening, all these areas. Be persistent in it. Don't let things get you sidetracked. Don't let the media, don't let all these platforms get you down because of what they tell you, all the horrible things that's going to happen. Yes, Matthew 24 tells us there's lots of, and Luke 20, 21, they tell us all these things, horrible things that's going to happen to the earth, but the Lord said they must happen. So don't give in to the devil's way of thinking that you just can't make it. Be persistent in whatever you do, and You will succeed. I guarantee you. If you'll just be persistent, you will succeed. You will get to the end if you just keep going. Don't give up. Be persistent.
Double A said he and his wife paid off their place in December. It feels good to be debt free.
Amen, Double A.
That's awesome.
Amen. When people pay their places off or pay themselves out of debt, I get all excited because it tells me that one more person has beat the system and not given in to this devil system that we live in called indebtedness, thinking that somebody's got to be in debt to live, and that is not true. You do not have to be in debt to live. There's too many people on here that's paid themselves out of debt.
Miss Nancy says she paid hers off in February. Yes.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't, I mean, even if you don't pay something totally off, if you're really heavy in debt,
look,
if you can pay one item at a time, and then whatever you're paying on that one, put it on another item and keep on. It's called
it's called snowballing.
Yeah.
If you have the means to pay yourself out of debt, for heaven's sakes, do it. Don't keep hanging on to something that's gonna. The Bible says money flies away like a bird out of a snare. You know what I mean? It's here today and it's gone tomorrow. And
Arthur Illustrator, BJ Moore, paid off their loan in February. Isn't that amazing?
See,
lots of people
that's what
are
I'm telling
starting.
you. Lots of people are
friends debt free.
Yes, I mean, people go, well, I've got $200,000 in my 401k. Well, what does it cost to pay off your place? You know, stop and think about that. You're hanging on to false security.
S. Hudson paid it off last September. Kansas Terry paid it off 2 years ago. I mean, lots of people are saying,
yeah.
I Am of Me said 2007. Danny's place here has been paid for since...
Oh, gosh.
Before middle of 2000?
Probably 2007. Since 2007, I paid off a $200-something-thousand debt, and I've never looked back. You know, we bought our new place. We paid for it. We're debt free. We're debt free on our land and our homes and stuff like that. My truck's paid for.
I still owe a little on the car, but I'm paying it down gradually, and I'm close to it. But I don't think of something like the car as being
anything that can be liquidated
really fast.
Is not what I call overwhelming debt.
Yeah.
Because if we can't pay for the car, we just let it go.
All right, sell it.
We sell it, or we just let it go back. I mean, I don't worry about credit. I don't worry about the Isaac scores and stuff like that, because 99% of the time I pay cash. You know.
Wishka said, I want to pay my property taxes off. I wish we could.
I wish there was a one-time thing for that, but well, actually, technically they are, but it's a long process.
Yeah, Tambra said she paid off in 2007. Basically, as far as me, I haven't had a house note since, my middle son was...
That's probably 30 years ago.
Almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When my husband and we got out of debt years ago, and we built a house from scratch, paid as we went, and never looked back. When I divorced, I lived in an apartment for a little while, but when I married Danny, we've had no house note.
Yeah.
So for nearly 30 years, I've not paid a house note. So I wouldn't know what it is to have to pay that every time you turn around.
I'm sitting here looking at everybody who's paid their places
2
off.
years and more,
yeah.
Yes.
Watch out for taxes when you take a lot of money out.
The 2 more months.
If you lose a quarter of it and you still pay your house off and you're debt free, to me that's not a loss.
Wendy, no debt.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes people take this no debt to an extreme. They say, you know, we have no debt. And if you say, well, we have a cell phone and, you know, you do have debt.
Yeah,
you have a power bill.
Debt.
Yeah. You have insurances. If you drop...
I would tell anybody to get on a well. Don't ever use city or community or municipal water.
But now, some places they can't put wells down.
Well,
you have to know
you'd have a hard
area.
time with me because I'm going to drill a well anyway. You know what I mean? I'm just that kind of person.
Well, they may not can find a person that can do it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
So you check out where you're at, see if it's allowed, because in this day and time, a lot of stuff ain't allowed that we think is allowed.
I mean, here's Stacy, Curious Yellow Coda. I mean, all these people, you know, it's a lot of people saying we're buffering now and getting stuck. Well, that's because YouTube don't want us to talk about this.
Nadia said
they paid the house off 15 years ago. Amen. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's called good, godly wisdom. This thing of being deep in debt, that's a system.
July.
That's called the beast system.
Yeah, Denise said last July.
See, buffering, freezing, buffering, they've done it to us. We got
okay, so we got to get off of here. We went way over our time anyways.
Well, we done started talking about stuff they don't want us to talk about, so we don't have to quit.
Y'all are all on the same page, and the ones of you that aren't out of debt,
get out of debt.
Work hard as you can to do it. Cut back on anything you can cut back on and put it on a bill. You'd be surprised if you cut off all the extras you buy at the store that you don't have to have. Take and save that money and throw it on a bill.
Yep.
See what happens in 6 months.
That's it. Hey, there's Palmetto Paratrooper. Hey, hadn't seen you in a while.
Always great when we get to see our old friends.
Our old friends. We always great to see them, yes.
All right, we got to go.
We got to go, guys. See y'all in the next video.